Hello and welcome to No Drop. On this episode, I want to talk about mini workouts and how to maintain your fitness in very short 2 to 5 minute exercises. These mini workouts are incredibly valuable for me when my schedule gets busy. They allow me to maintain my fitness. I don't always have time for an hour in the gym or for 2 to 3 hour bike rides. Those things are a luxury. And when those workouts become obstacles, I have a completely different tool set that I turn to stay on track for my long-term fitness goals. But before I get into that, I wanted to share that I now have a way that you can support me. If you go to my website, jeffzenfitness.com, at the very top of the page, you'll see a link to a Venmo and a PayPal. You can support me using those links. I will also put those links in the podcast notes. So if you check the notes for this episode, you will see links to a Venmo and a PayPal. The PayPal also offers a way to set up a monthly contribution. So if this podcast has been helpful for you, if you've been able to deepen your connection to cycling, fitness, approaching different mindsets, that support will go a long way in helping me produce future content. It's been really impactful for me to have the tools to stay connected to fitness regardless of what my schedule might be. When I get really, really busy, I do not see that as an excuse to cut off my ties to fitness, and to be able to maintain fitness in busy times really doesn't take that much time or effort. The way that I maintain that connection and maintain my fitness is by doing these really short 2 to 5 minute routines just a couple times throughout the day. So for example, if I have a busy work day and I'm going to be at my computer, sitting, staring at a screen for most of the day, what I'll do is maybe 3 times throughout the day, I'll take a break, I'll get up, get some water, hydrate a little bit, and then I'll devote maybe 2 to 5 minutes to move my body. Sometimes it might be somewhat unstructured, and other times I have routines that I turn to so I can do a little mini workout in my day. If you want to see one of these mini workouts and maybe even follow along, I have created a video that I will put on my Instagram, both the No Drop Podcast Instagram, as well as my Zen Jeff Instagram. I will put the video there. You can look at it, you can follow along. It's less than 5 minutes, and I promise you, it's a great, great workout. I will also put that on my website, jeffzenfitness.com, and I'll link all that stuff below in the podcast notes. So if you want to check out that workout, I'll talk about it a little bit here coming up, but if you want to check it out and follow along, follow those links, and all you need is a yoga mat. It's very, very simple. You can stay in your work clothes and everything. I'm really trying to give you an authentic version of what one of these workouts looks like. these mini workouts might not seem like they do much. You know, a lot of us are very connected to the idea that a workout needs to be an hour in the gym, or it needs to be 2 to 3 hours on the bike. And well, that connection to fitness is incredibly, incredibly important. You can really do a lot with much, much less time. These mini workouts don't really require very much equipment, so it really allows us to be self-sufficient, to have a different set of tools available to us. You know, consistency is, for me, the most important, highest yield fitness habit that I have. And the way that I stay consistent is by treating my workouts dynamically. You know, if my schedule gets busy, I have a different set of tools that I can turn to stay fit and even build fitness. If I have a very open schedule and I don't have a lot of demands going on, obviously, then I'm going to approach fitness in a different way. So being able to be self-sufficient and approach your fitness from these multiple different angles, that empowers you, right? To maintain your connection when most people would think, oh, I'm just too busy, I'll just give up, I'll get back to it next week. I will not make those excuses. And so when I'm doing just these little workouts, again, consistency is so huge in fitness. So let's sort of recalibrate our mindset a little bit about how we connect to fitness and realize that sometimes we can really strip it down to basics. We can get really, really efficient and invest a minimal amount of time to still tackle our fitness goals. The benefits of these mini workouts, like I said, they promote consistency. Consistency is everything. I cannot stress that enough. Consistency is everything when you're trying to build what my goal is, a lifetime of fitness. Mini workouts help us to maintain our muscle mass. They elevate our heart rate for a short period of time. They increase our metabolism. This is a really big one. Within these mini workouts, we're not really looking at the workout itself burning that many calories. We're just not active for that amount of time. But what this does for you metabolically in the hour or two after you do the workout is really, really substantial. A couple of these short workouts, and you could reasonably burn a couple hundred more calories per day. So if you're mostly sitting around, you know, sometimes our diets get a little thrown off when we're busy too. Having the ability to just sort of increase our calorie burn can be really valuable and allow us to, you know, maybe not gain weight or gain fat when we get really busy. So increasing metabolism is a really exciting part of these mini workouts. And focusing on breathing is a huge benefit. When I sit down and I work all day, I often resort to what I would call stress breathing. So typically I'm breathing very shallow, and then every once in a while I'll kind of have these big inhale, exhale moments, and you can feel the stress in that breathing. It is not healthy, open, even breathing. So breath and finding breath is a very big part of exercise for me. So to move for 2 to 5 minutes and find my breath, inhaling on the way down on a squat and then pushing up and exhaling and taking these deep intentional breaths, that is really great for me as far as relieving stress, feeling more clear-headed after the fact. So there are substantial benefits to these very, very minimal time investment workouts. When we are creating these mini workouts, we really want to think about these as simply as possible. So we're thinking about using our body weight and leveraging gravity as our two main forces. And the equipment required to do these should be very minimal too. Remember, these mini workouts, we want to make them as approachable as possible. We want to be able to utilize them in literally any situation that we could find ourselves in. That could be working at home, that could be at the airport waiting for flights. It could be when you're traveling and spending time with family. So really look at it from a very basic lens. How can I design a workout? Movements like push-ups are a great start. Any type of core work is incredibly valuable. And this is where mini workouts might not even be just maintenance. When we're thinking about core work, we can actually make progress and grow our fitness with a very short window of time. For me, a long core routine is probably only 10 to 15 minutes long. So even when I only have 2 to 5 minutes, that's a lot of core movement that I can do. And that helps me grow my fitness with a minimal investment. Things like that, things that as a cyclist you might not be doing, those can be opportunities to grow our fitness. So those are new movements, things we don't often do. A rule in fitness is that new stress is always the hardest. So now, if we're focusing on newer muscle groups, we're creating new stress in the body, that will have a higher impact than if we went with just leg exercises. Our legs are already fit. My legs are already fit. They really don't need a ton of extra work. But upper body, back, arms, shoulders, chest, core, these are areas that are not targeted in cycling. And it will have a huge, huge impact on your body, on your metabolism, on your strength to focus on these areas. So think about areas that get neglected. Think about how to train your weakness. Whatever you're worst at, these mini workouts are a great way to start building the fitness to overcome those weaknesses. This is all about expanding our perspective of fitness. Going to a gym is great, but when that becomes an obstacle, to have the tools, to have the perspective to deal with that, is incredibly, incredibly empowering. The same thing goes for, 2 to 3 hour bike rides. What an amazing way to connect with exercise and to connect with activity. But again, when that time investment becomes unreasonable, that workout becomes an obstacle. So expand our perspective, look at how important it can be to just maintain consistency. That is how I started pursuing these mini workouts, purely out of necessity. And now they've become an equally as important part of my fitness journey as the long bike rides or the long gym sessions. Having these tools to execute these mini workouts have really allowed me to maintain my fitness at a very high level and just overcome all these obstacles that life throws at me. The one thing that really keeps me dedicated to these mini workouts is the idea of what happens if you do not have tools like this. And what I mean by that is the idea of backsliding or losing a substantial amount of fitness. I only want to be facing that reality if there is some sort of injury that happens that's out of my control. But if I am healthy and I'm only busy, if that is the big obstacle in front of me, is just not having very much time, I know how to deal with that. And hopefully, after listening to this, and after jumping on my Instagram or jumping on my website, you'll have the tools to continue to maintain your fitness regardless of the obstacles and the constraints that life puts on your schedule. Really, I encourage everybody, change your perspective and just try to get after it every single day, no matter how busy you get.